Good evening, otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your dark mask diva. So, I'd like to talk about something that I think it should be obvious, but it's not. So, otherworldlies, I would just like to start talking about it. I'm going to jump right in because I get questions on all medias about this. Okay, and it's just this subject in general, and I see people doing it all the time too in person, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is such a common mistake. So I'm thinking, okay, I've made other videos just touching on this subject, but I'm going to make this video about it and just go into more detail about it. Okay, this is about people that will not stop talking about their ex. Guys, stop talking about your ex. Okay, this is what you need to do, and this is why you need to stop talking about your ex, basically. Okay, well, here's the thing. When you're talking about your ex, people know that they can't be in a relationship with you. Okay, so they know that if you're talking about your ex, first of all, nobody really wants to talk to you about your ex. Nobody really wants to hear about your ex. Okay, like your friends, you can talk to them a little bit. Your best friend will tolerate you talking about your ex for a while. Your best friend will let you talk about your ex for a little while. Okay, but after a while, they're not trying to hear about it. Okay, like, you're a guy or whatever, your buddies are going to take you out for drinks. Okay, they're going to take you out to a strip joint, they're going to try to help you get over her or whatever. Okay, but after a while, they don't want to hear you crying and drinking and talking about that chick anymore. Okay, they don't want to hear about it anymore. Okay, and your ladies, like your best female friend doesn't want to hear about that jerk and how he broke your heart and cheated on you and did this, that, and the other, because she's probably telling you not to be with him this whole time. And like, you finally wised up after she's been telling you for the past year and a half, you really need to lose that bum, and you finally came to the conclusion that you should not be with him. And now you have the nerve to cry to her all the time about it, right? And make all these Facebook posts about the dude and do all this stuff, and just kind of like, you're completely embarrassing yourself. Okay, talking about this dude all the time, right? Okay, you need to stop doing this. Guys, girls, you both need to stop doing it. Okay, I know you're both dealing with it probably in different ways. You both might be posting on social media about the ex all the time. Okay, whether the ex was toxic or not. The ex might have been the best thing that ever happened to you, or the ex might have been some toxic cheater. I mean, the ex just, if you keep talking about that person, whether they were like a good ex or a bad ex, you just need to stop talking about them. Okay, because you're going to look like a stalker. If they were the good ex, if they were the one that got away, you're going to look like a stalker. Okay, if they were a bad toxic ex, you're going to look like you lack major judgment. Okay, and here's the thing, it's going to keep other people from being with you. Okay, so I'm going to kind of elaborate on that. Okay, this is what you don't want to do. All right, and I hope I can explain this to where it makes sense. You don't ever want to tell anybody that you got cheated on. And you're like, oh my God, you're victim blaming. Okay, I'm not. But here's what goes through people's heads. Let's just say hypothetically, you're on a date with me, and you tell me that you got cheated on by your last girlfriend. Okay, dude, it's not your fault. Okay, she's just a cheater, all right? But say I'm not a nice person. Hypothetically, just say I'm not a nice person. I'm thinking to myself, if I wanted to take advantage of you, say that I'm horrible, I'm thinking, oh, well, it's easy to get over on this guy and cheat on him. I could get in a relationship with this guy, and he's obviously easy to fool and cheat on. someone else did it to him. You know what I mean? And guys think the same thing. If the girl got cheated on, he can do it to her too. She got fooled by somebody else. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry to say this, even though, like, it's not true, okay? When people cheat, that means there's something wrong with them, okay? But they can turn it around on you and try to say there's something wrong with you when they cheat on you because someone else did it to you. And they can try to make you feel like there's something wrong with you. And they can turn around and cheat on you too. So, do not ever give anybody the keys. Don't ever tell anybody you've ever been cheated on. Okay, and here's another reason not to do it, okay? Like, when I was single, like, I'd talk to people, and guys would tell me that they've been cheated on before, and I'd be like, red flag, I will never date this guy. So, like, he'd confide and talk about how he's been cheated on before by this chick and this other chick, and he'd talk about how it happened over and over and over and over. Well, he'd talk about how it happened in his last 4 relationships. Well, I'm thinking, well, the common denominator is him. So I try not to be, like, judgmental, but the fact that it happened in his last 4 relationships, I kind of started to wonder what was wrong with him. I couldn't help but think that. Even though I know when people cheat, there's something wrong with the cheater. But I'm thinking, okay, let's just say hypothetically I went out with him. What would he be doing? He would be accusing me of cheating on him all the time. And the thing about it is I'm not a cheater. But he would be paranoid I was cheating on him all the time, right? And he'd be accusing me and watching me all the time and expecting me to fix him. Okay, so I wouldn't touch that guy with a 10-foot pole. Right? And I'll tell you, I've been in a lot of relationships, and again, I'm going to let you guys know I'm not a cheater. I've been in a lot of relationships where guys have accused me of cheating for no reason. And I know what the reason was. It's because they were cheated on by somebody else. But of course, I got accused of the cheating because they got cheated on by other people. So it's like, you can't fix what happened to somebody else. By somebody else. So, of course, I would not stay in those relationships because I was not going to stay with somebody who accused me of doing that. You know what I mean? My integrity was insulted. So, and if you're stupid enough to accuse me of doing something like that, you don't deserve to be with me. So, that's one of those red flags where, once somebody is dumb enough to accuse you of doing something like that and you're innocent, there's a level of paranoia there. There's a level of insecurity where you should not be with that person if they're that insecure. Sorry, there's something wrong there. So that's where they went wrong. So do not ever accuse somebody of doing something because somebody else did it to you. Also, okay, because you'll lose a good person. But again, don't talk about your exes. Do not go on a date and talk about your previous relationship. Except if someone said, what happened with your last relationship? Just say, we wanted different things and we just kind of grew apart. But I wish them well and hope nothing but the best for them. Because that sounds nice. And just say, do you still talk to them? And go, well, there's no real reason to. Because nobody likes somebody who still talks to their ex. Okay? And that's just the God's honest truth. You really should not be talking to your ex. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody who still talks to their ex. Just say, I wish them well. I hope whatever they're doing, it's going well for them, and we just grew apart and we just wanted different things out of life. So we let each other go. We just had other goals. Don't say the other goal was sleeping with other people or anything like that. Don't You don't have to elaborate and get into it. Just say our lives were going another direction. That's all you have to say, and just make it sound just like you had different, a different focus. Okay, you wanted different things out of life, because that sounds healthy. All right, this person could have been a lying, cheating, drug addict person who never paid their bills, and your goal was not to be with somebody like that. All right, but you could just make it sound like, we just peacefully went our separate ways. Just make it sound like whatever, and we just don't really have any reason to talk to each other anymore. Make it sound, do not trash that person. All right, do not sound bitter. Sound like that chapter of your life is over and you've moved on. Do not bring them up again. Do not bring them up in conversation. Okay? Do not. Now, there's your best friend that you can be honest with about your ex and why you guys broke up. But don't talk about the ex for too long with them. Talk about them for a little while and then get over it. You don't want to annoy your friends talking about your ex. You want to just grieve the breakup for a little while and then you want to get over it. Okay? It needs to be a reasonable amount of time, but you don't want your friends to want to avoid you because you won't stop talking about this person. All right? You want to be a good candidate for them to introduce you to somebody cool. Okay, you don't want to be like, man, I'd really like to introduce so-and-so to this great person, but man, they won't stop talking about what's her face or what's his face. And like, oh God, I don't think they're ready, but man, this person's really nice. I'd really like to introduce him, but I'm afraid they're going to bring up what's her name again, and so you need to just quit doing that. Okay, it's maladaptive behavior, so you need to quit talking about it. Do not ever do not call the other person's name. You have to not be thinking about them anymore, okay? Get all their crap out of your house, okay? Make sure the ex gets all their stuff, or if they don't want it anymore, just throw it away. Okay, you don't want reminders. You don't want to bring someone new over and they see a bunch of stuff that obviously belong to your ex at your house, okay? Because they're going to be like, why are they hanging on to their stuff? So that's what I'm talking about, okay? You don't want to treat new people that you go out on a date with like they're the therapist to help you get over your last relationship. Okay, because that's really not fair. And that person will get mad. And I'm going to tell you, if someone ever treats you like a therapist to help you get over the last relationship, okay, they're not truly attracted to you. They just see you as a listening ear and somebody to vent to. Don't go out with that person again. Like, kind of block them after the date. Okay? Don't ever let anyone vent to you about their last relationship. Or if you can just keep them as a friend if you think they're an okay person. But don't ever consider them for a romantic relationship. Okay? If you're bringing up your ex, the one that got away all the time, all right, you are going to come off like a stalker. All right, it's going to come off like you're talking about them all the time. You think you're being romantic. Okay, it's going to get back to the ex that you're still talking about them. Your ex is going to think you're stalking them. It's not a good look. Okay, and I'm going to tell you this. This dude did this to me for years, okay? He was completely obsessed with me. He talked about me to everyone we knew for years and years and years and years, and it was always getting back to me. And I kept saying, he's a stalker to these people. He's always talking about me, and he's a stalker, okay? Don't tell him you saw me. Don't tell him where I'm at. he's a stalker. He won't stop talking about me. He won't stop asking about me. Don't tell him anything you know about me. I don't want him to find me. Okay, so that's where I was coming from. But he was always, have you seen Juliana? Do you know where she works? Do you know where she lives? Like, is she seeing anyone now? And I mean, he's like, I'm just still, like, years later, just still so in love with her, and she was the best thing that ever happened to me. Okay, he was obsessed with me. And in his mind, he's just like, still like, his limerence was that bad. Okay? So in his mind, it's just this romantic thing, all right? In my mind, he's a stalker. Okay, so he's seeing it completely differently than I'm seeing it. To me, he's a psycho, okay? To him, he's just, he's just like hopelessly in love with me. So these are two completely different ways of looking at it, all right? I see him as someone I just needed to get away from. I just didn't want to go out with him anymore. And I had only gone out with a guy for a few months. But he acted like we were married or something. It was just the most bizarre thing, okay? And so do not, if someone doesn't want to see you anymore, do not ask about them all the time, because I was telling all these people he was a stalker. All right. So all these people in town knew him as the stalker who would not stop talking about me. Don't be known as a guy like him, because he became kind of famous as the stalker because he was doing this. All right. And finally he passed away. And it was a huge relief to me, because I was tired of him asking about my whereabouts all the time, and, people having to just kind of, hide information and stuff like that, because he was just always looking for me. I was afraid to put a restraining order on him, because then he would actually know where I was. If you guys are just wondering why I didn't do that. Because then he'd, I'd have to list my address, and I was afraid he would come to my address. Yeah. I had that many people trying to protect me and not let him know where it was. So people were aware he was a stalker. Don't talk about your ex. So, yeah. It looks bad. It's a bad look. Don't mention your ex on social media. Okay? Because then you're putting things out on the internet that you can't get rid of. Yeah, you can delete it. It's still out there in cyberspace. People have already seen it. Okay? You can put it there and then go delete it a week later. Everyone has already seen it. Okay? People have already read it. So, don't put it out there in the first place. Watch what you put on social media. Watch what you say, because once you say it, people can't unhear it. When you stop saying things, you stop breathing life into those things. When you say things, you speak things into existence. So stop saying things. Stop talking about those exes. You can scare your exes by talking about them too much. Just like I'm telling you that story about that guy. That was a true story. That guy was scaring me. So, and he was never going to move on and like anybody else, because he was just constantly talking about me and thinking about me and keeping himself focused on me. Like there was no other woman in the world or something. That was his fault for doing that to himself. Okay? So, and he could have met somebody else who would have liked him. But no, all he did was talk about me. So do you think, anyone else would have gone out with him? No, they could see he was clearly obsessed with me. So he could have met somebody else nice. but he was just exhibiting that behavior. Just stop talking about exes. You will not be able to meet anybody else. All right. And if you do get into a relationship and you're talking about an ex, you're going to hurt that other person that you're in the relationship with, because they know you're not over the ex. Even if you're saying, I hate her, I hate him, they know that you actually care about the person. If you're still emotionally invested in an ex and you're talking about how much you can't stand that person, you still have some like emotion there, because love and hate are very like closely linked. Indifference is the opposite of love, not hate, indifference. So you got to just not care anymore. Your exes have to cease to exist. Okay, if you're still bringing them up, they're still relevant. Just don't go there. Stop talking about them. Make them stop existing. Okay, and then that's the only way you're going to truly be able to have a good reputation. Okay, keep people from getting over on you. Not look like a psycho who can't get over things. You know, like you're making yourself look like you have emotional problems, and you want to just be able to go and have a satisfying relationship with a new person, and you don't want to drive yourself crazy. All right? Okay. This is Queen Juliana, your Dark Mask Diva. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your attention to my channel. I just appreciate you all being here so much. And I hope I said something that helped. And put any questions you have down in the comments. Please like, please subscribe, please share if this video might help somebody. And I hope to see you all soon again. All right? Bye-bye.